Hey everyone, welcome to the Love Your Body podcast. We're awake now. Yes, we got our
Yes,
fight energy.
I'm drinking my fight.
Hey.
Are we sponsored by
No, we are not. We are not.
Kyle?
No, we are not.
Get your ass. Let's go. Come on.
Kyle out here not loving his body. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I love your body, Kyle.
Oh my god.
Even if you don't.
Oh, that's funny. No, I just have so many of those blender bottles from like all the years of me going there.
They have one that is like monster size. Have you seen that one?
The blue one. Is it?
No, this one's clear with a black
okay.
top. It's like 3 times the size.
Because I have
It's my water one.
Okay, so I have a huge one, but it's probably not that as big as that one. But literally, like it every time doesn't fit in my cup holder,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, it won't
Oh, it
fall
does not?
over. It won't fall. It falls over every
Yeah.
time. I'm like, you
So it's
know,
like the one you have is like twice that size.
yeah.
It's amazing.
That's so funny. No, I am happy about these new blender bottles. I'll have them at the
Oh,
expo.
look at that one.
So yeah, this is my
Okay.
first ever
Product placement. I like it.
So I was excited about that, and it was funny because Logan had mentioned he was like, "How are you gonna have a product before?" Because I never had water bottles before.
He's great. He's got a good point.
Right? And I was like, look, I kind of do things a little
One thing at a
backwards.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
We get
So,
there.
but I have a ton for the expo, so I'm so excited.
Good.
So excited to introduce my guest, Roy Mangrum, owner of Barbell Voodoo.
Yeah.
And so if you guys ever saw, strongman videos of me, I was always wearing these booty shorts. Like those are the shorts that he has sold. I mean, do you know, millions, right? Like,
Oh God, I have no record. I have no idea. Somebody asked me the other day, like, how many shirt designs we've ever done.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way of knowing.
Right. You're just like a lot.
Yeah, just all of them.
And so besides Barbell Voodoo being at the expo, so you guys, Roy is the owner of the co-owner, right?
Yep,
of the
co-owner,
expo.
yep.
So that's how we say it. And so we wanted to have him come on because when this goes out, it will be like 6 days away.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah. And so
got cold
how are you
chills.
feeling?
I'm always nervous.
Yeah.
Just I want to over deliver.
Mm-hmm.
I want all the vendors to just be over the moon about it. I want all the attendees to just think this is the best thing ever.
Right.
So I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I was talking to my business partner, Barbell Voodoo, yesterday, and I was just kind of telling him just because it's, that business is crazy busy right now.
Right.
So like life is just, like I told you, life is wild at the moment. And, he's like, well, dude, look at what you've done. How much stuff you've done. If you've done your part, right? Bringing in all these celebrities and there's billboards and we run Facebook. We've spent like $50,000 to draw the crowd.
Wow.
Just what else can I do?
Yeah.
Drive around with a bus and pick people.
Yeah.
Seriously. That's, so ticket sales are awesome. We're ahead of last year.
Good.
The walk up last year, I think, was 1,200 people.
Yeah.
Which blew my mind. The year before was 400 people.
Okay.
And that's kind of roundabout numbers because we're just counting cash. We have no...
Right. And these are just people that just walked up, hadn't pre-bought a ticket. Yeah. Got it.
So it's wild. We'll see. It's a week away and filled up 100,000 square feet with booth. I would have never thought...
Well, let's talk about that because so for those of you that don't know, so Music City Fit Expo happening June 8th, 2024. And this expo, if you've watched, on social media and everything, it's always a fun time. Like it's always a great time. It's my biggest event that I participate in every year. And, and this is one of those things for like Dani Fitness people to come out, community, environment. Sure. And I try to tell them, I tell them all day long about all my partners and all my sponsors and people that I use, right, for recovery. But I'm like, if you want to meet those people, come to the expo. Like this is an easy way. You can just get your hands in it and be like, oh, they're going to stretch me. Okay. Now I can understand what it is. And then go from there, right?
Exactly.
So that's right. And I'll kind of tell them before we even get there, leading up to the expo, I'm like, hey, just want to let you know, these booths, go by there, check them out.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that way there's more, again, there's advocacy for everyone. So that way they know and they kind of don't feel overwhelmed. Because I feel like a lot of times, when people are thinking about the expo, and you might have dealt with this in the past, if you're somebody that is not into fitness, right? And they want to come to an expo, like you want them to feel safe, and then you want them to feel like, okay, I can show up, right? So kind of have you guys dealt with that at all? Being like, hey, this isn't just for bodybuilders. This isn't just for CrossFit.
Exactly.
Like, how do you?
Yeah. So, and that kind of goes throughout the whole thing. So it's not like it's themed, right, with the different rooms, but every room is different. The vendors for that room, there's those type of vendors in every room.
Yeah.
So if you go in one room, there's like strongman and CrossFit, and it's kind of that vibe.
Yep.
If you go in the next room, there's powerlifting, then there's like USA weightlifting, which could not be more different. But that's in a room. Yeah. There's also sumo wrestling.
Yep, saw that.
So it's something totally different. Yes, totally brand new.
Yeah.
And then you go to the next room, and there's the bikini fashion show and arm wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's totally different. But, the whole thing with the expo is, if you're, I always say advanced or elite, but if you're the elite type athlete, most of these brands, so you're coming out to just meet them and shop. But if you are the intro, like you're like, you know what? I've decided this summer, I'm going to start my fitness journey.
Right.
Well, where do you start? You don't know where to start. You're like,
correct.
Well, I've seen Danny D. I could do Danny D stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen, Burn Boot Camp, or I've seen, there's, different, I could try CrossFit. I could try powerlifting, do bodybuilding. There's so many different things. You're like, well, where do you start? But if you come to an event like this, you can walk around, you can meet Danny D. You ain't got to look at the Instagram. You can meet her. Hey, do we vibe? Yes or no? If yes, you know what? Even better, I could take one of her classes that day.
Yep.
And I can walk over to her little booth and I can sign up and I can get started. Same thing with the different classes that are going on throughout the day. And if you're like, man, I've been doing this powerlifting thing my whole life and I'm over it.
Yeah.
But I still want to do something. Yeah. And then you see, the bikini, not for me, I'm not doing the bikini thing.
Right.
But then again, that may draw the crowd, ladies.
Yep.
But, you can see these different things and go, you know what? Maybe that would be something to try out.
Right.
There's no event like it in the city.
Yeah.
And why there's not, I don't know. As we were talking about the live stream we did earlier, if I'm a fan of it as much as I am a co-owner, right? If I wasn't putting it on, I would go to this event if someone else was.
Right.
I was on a podcast and they said, well, what if, a company came in and bought it out, or a big conglomerate decided to put one on? Would you still go? Absolutely. I would go. It's not like I told you how much money we blew. I say we blew. This ain't like a money grab. This is like, we're trying to make Nashville a fitter place.
Yeah.
And this is what it is. This is bringing all these brands, what the city has to offer, bring them under one roof. The attendees come in, you can sample, meet, greet, shop, do it all. Yeah. That's the whole point.
Yeah. No, I love it. And that's why it's like, when I think back to when I first started my business and then did my Find Your Fit Festival, you were one of the first sponsors.
I was actually.
Yeah, literally.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, so just gonna note that, and that's one of the. I mean, honestly, that is one of the main reasons that I participate in the expo. You know what I'm saying? But was you? Yeah, exactly. No, seriously, because literally all the people who were at that first one, or or even the second or third or whatever, they most of the time, there was Tyler with Ambition Threads. It was, Barbell Voodoo. You had National Fit Magazine. You had, different chiropractors. Even Rush was there.
Yep.
So people who go to the expo now, right? But they were there in the beginning of my business. I mean, sure. And I didn't have to. It wasn't this they just wanted to be a part of something. You know what I mean?
That's all it was.
And that's what it was beautiful. And that's what it meant so much to me. Right. Yeah. And so it was one of those things that, after it was 2020 when like I got injured, and then everything kind of happened in that, and then obviously the world and stuff, that like I wasn't able to continue with that. And so it was one of those movements of like, well, I knew that the expo that happened when Ryan was in charge was the year before, that 2019, and that, you know, was one of the best memories I had because of like tire flip, but then also I was sponsoring, but I had my friends, my clients, people flew in to see me, like the strongman competition. It was awesome. And so like I knew that like if I wasn't able to continue with the fitness festivals, like because I wanted to put more of my goals into strongman competing, all those things, right? That like that was going to keep going. So it kind of felt like I still want to be a part of it, you know, in that respect. And so yeah, so when it was 2021 when you guys
No.
or was 2020?
So Ryan, of course, COVID 2020, the guidelines of not communicating. There wasn't a lot of communicating either, but no congregating. And then he had planned to have it in 21 and had started selling vendor booths. Yeah. And then, you know, the city shut it down. And then that's kind of like when he was just like washed his hands with all of it. It was like, you know what? You guys win. I give up. Yeah. And, you know, Terry wanting to do everything, reached out to him and was like, hey, what if? Yeah. Which is how all good stories start with what if? And, he gave us the blessing and we took off with it from there. Yeah. So what was the first Music City Fit Expo you did? Which one?
So I did, so I did my fitness festival in 2017, and then it was 2018 because
At Vanderbilt?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I was there because I was promoting my fitness festival there. Okay. And that's where I kind of met just like all different people and kind of and everything like that. And so that was really cool. And then those people were going to be sponsors at the festival. Gotcha. Yeah. So then did that. And the main difference between like that festival and then that one, because so with Vandy, always y'all's expo was inside. Like it was like an indoor and everything like that. Mine was more of a outside. It was for people who don't know, but like focused on like the group fitness aspect. So it was more of like, here's the movement part. And then the sponsors and everything, like that was like the icing on the cake.
It's the flip.
You see what I mean? Yeah. So that's where like I'm very prominent about like with y'all's expo, the group fitness being like still presented there and like having that. And so that's why I've loved being able to either open that up or like be, you know, part of doing Move Fit, because I do think that it's really powerful. And that is the one thing that I've noticed at all the expos I've been to, like the Arnold and everything, that is different because yes, they do Zumba at the Arnold, but again, they don't really promote group fitness. And I understand why and I get it, but also there's so many people who are like going to find gyms, they're going to find stuff to do cardio. I'm not saying that you lift, so it's like.
Let me ask you this: why do you think they don't promote it at the Arnold?
I've talked to him about it.
Oh, okay,
and I mean, I don't know if it's the person in charge that I talked to, but they're leaning towards it, but more so, it's just not a priority because they don't
just
know.
Pushing the strongman, the bodybuilding.
Yeah, well, the things that are exciting for people to watch, not interact and move their body. Watch.
That's where. I see their point, right? Because you have to have attractions.
Yes.
Which is, I get it. That's what we do. Right. But I think it's critical to have the participation aspect.
Yes.
Because otherwise, what was I comparing? I went to another fitness event, and I said it was like a fitness flea market. Yeah. You walked in, you walked through it one time, you've seen it all, you've done it all. Let's go on to hit the house. Yes. So like, I want our thing to be more interactive where you can come, you can do Move Fit when you're done. There's cold plunges over here. You want to try a cold plunge? This is a great time. You just got done working out.
100%.
Jump in the cold plunge.
You can still stay on your regimen. Yes. And that's the biggest thing too that I've told people because like, well, I have to get my workout in before and this one. It's like, exactly. And that's why I'm like, guys, like Move Fit is a workout. It's not just cardio. Like we're going to, you know, continually be moving for 45 minutes to an hour. So it's going to be a lot of fun and it's for everybody. And then literally like if you want to do, you know, yoga or you want to do another class after,
all day and do
you can, you literally could.
How much energy you got?
Right. And I think that, again, you know, it is so important because so many people are, like I said, are on that. Like, I remember going to Arnold and I was just, again, it was a lot to take in. It's overwhelming, right? And it would have been nice to have not had to go work out beforehand or to do, or just to be able to move and do stuff, because I'm like running around, like, interviewing people and stuff, whatever, and having fun. But I just, I really think people miss that opportunity. And I get it. Like, okay, you don't want to be sweaty all day, but like, whatever. Like, you can change by a new outfit. I changed there.
Well,
like, I did a whole change from coral to blue, like, real quick.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it doesn't have. I think sometimes people put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. Right. Mm-hmm. Look, we're all sweating. It's June. It's Nashville.
Yes.
Put some cologne on your ass and walk around. You'll be just fine.
And nobody cares. Like,
nobody cares.
Yeah, you're going to see people that are just like sweaty and gross from competing. You're going to see people who maybe, are doing the fashion show or whatever. And they're kind of
probably going to be sweaty walking from the parking lot. Let's be real.
Right.
It's June in Nashville.
Yeah. So again, it's one of those things where coming as you are, because again, too, I want people to understand that, like, with these type of events, and maybe feeling that you're not the most fit or you're whatever that is, that all bodies are welcome, and you're going to see that in different athletic modes.
So what you just said is funny because somebody had asked me that, and I was like, you do see me, right? I'm the one putting this thing on. I'm the poster child.
I'm the poster child.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, come on, people.
Yeah.
It is for everybody. It's for all shapes and sizes. You ain't got to be, stage ready.
Right.
To walk. No, that's not. You're missing the point.
Yes, exactly.
You're missing the point.
And I get it that it can be overwhelming because it's like new environment, stuff like that. But that's why I tell my girls, I'm like, if you just want to come for Move Fit, like, whatever it is, and then go, walk around for a minute and leave, cool.
Sure.
A lot of them, stayed the whole day. A lot of them stayed.
Well, I think like what you just said is their intent may be, you know what? I'm going to come, I'm going to do Move Fit, I'm going to walk through, and I'm going to get out of there. But then they're like, oh, I'm not the only one that looks like I look.
Right. Yes.
It is. I'm accepted. This is my jam. Yeah. These are my people.
Yeah. So, which is cool. And you can, find that. And that's why I love watching them walk around and just have fun and kind of do it as I treat it as like a DDF, like community event.
Sure.
So like, that's why I try to get them to show up there, and that way they can like meet with everyone. So if they're like online client, they haven't met in person, or they haven't seen, everybody in the LYB and stuff like that, they can meet, hang out, chill, all the good stuff. And then, so I think it's gonna be a great day. I'm very excited. Tell them, a little bit about, so you and Terry both, are in charge of everything like that. So how has that been? Like, do you feel like every year you feel more supported from the community? Do you feel like there's any actual like struggles? Like, what's been?
Yeah, no, I will say year 2 was actually probably tougher.
Okay.
And I don't know why that is. It's like, year 1, I think, I don't remember what the attendance was, maybe 1,500-ish.
Okay.
Which, dude, that's nothing to sneeze at for a one-day event in this town with everything else going on.
I know.
You're pulling some people.
Yeah.
But getting vendors was like tough the second year. I don't know what it was until like probably a month out.
Okay.
And then I couldn't take money fast enough.
Right.
Like everybody wanted a piece. Right. And then of course everybody wanted prime spot. I'm like, dude, you can't do that.
Right.
So then last year we did like put down a deposit.
Yes. Yeah.
I think you did that, didn't you?
Yeah.
So it's like, give me $100.
Yeah.
And you can pick your spot.
Yeah.
Right now. And you ain't got to pay the rest for 12 months.
Right.
Interest-free financing.
Yeah.
It's you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't get any better than that.
Right.
Because a lot of, and I get it. I'm a small business owner too. So like we do a lot of events, and sometimes my coordinator will email me these invoices, and I'm like, God dang, dude, you just sent me an invoice for freaking $4,000 yesterday. Don't send me another one today. Give me a week,
Yes. Yeah.
So I get it, you know, but if you can pre-book a year in advance, put down $100. So we did that last year, and it was way, way better this year.
Right.
So like we sold quite a few booths up front. I don't remember the numbers. And then, we really didn't push it until probably 6 months later. So like November-ish, we did like a little Black Friday deal, sold quite a few booths. And then it's just been kind of a steady trickle.
That's good.
But, we got some bigger companies coming, which I think is always cool to be able to bring that stuff to the city.
Right.
You still have your local stuff, but then you also have like, Cold Tub. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Get a Cold Tub, Abmat. That's a, national brand.
Right.
There's a watch company called S-Force, which I actually just found out he moved here.
Oh, cool.
So he lives downtown. So I don't know if we'd call him national or Nashville. Either way. But it's just, it's been good. It's been a lot better this year. Scared though, just because, like I said, to fill up 3 buildings.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff.
I remember the first year, I mean, you told me, because it was the building, it was
Expo 1.
Yeah.
Which is 64,000 square feet.
Yeah. Like you told me like this was your goal. I mean, you wanted to have all 3 booked up. So like, and that's only been in 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is great.
Which I'm behind on. So I'm big on goals.
Yeah.
So next year was supposed to be Music City Center.
Right. I know.
It ain't happening. So I think
I know they're ridiculous.
Dude, God. Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to pay the full amount 12 months in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to rent the whole facility was $100,000, and I had to pay it 12 months in advance.
Yeah.
So obviously not happening.
Yeah.
So what I think we're going to, because we've talked to a lot of big brands like Muscle Egg and, of course, I just forget all the names, but a lot of big brands.
Right.
And they're like, dude, we would love to come.
Yeah.
If it's 2 days.
Yeah.
And I get it, traveling and bringing all your stuff here.
Yeah.
It's a lot of expense, and to try to recoup it in 8 hours is difficult.
Challenging, yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. Well, let me figure out how I'm going to make this work without doubling the price.
Right.
Right. Because, you can't do that.
Right.
So I think I've done enough napkin math to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So next year will be 2 days.
Okay. Awesome.
I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday or Friday, Saturday. I'm still up in the air.
Okay.
Because Sundays are weird in Nashville.
Sundays are weird. Yeah.
So, the other part of that, Dani, is you can't have, in my mind, the same things available.
Yes.
Friday or the 2 days, right?
Right.
So if you got Strongman one day, what takes its place day 2?
Right.
Right. So you got to be different.
Right. So when I think about that, like I feel like hearing that, being like, okay, if it was like a Friday, Saturday type vibe, Friday after work type of thing, people could come, but like you could have the expo, have them be present there. That way they kind of get their feet wet, people coming, whatever. But then like Friday night having like a panel,
so
you know what I mean? Or something cool like that.
So I did, for Barbell Voodoo, we did this Christmas Village in the same building this past Christmas. And they open on Thursday. Thursday's like ladies' night. And it's like ladies come in and shop and they're drinking. They're all shit-faced. They're hammered.
Okay.
I hope this is not a PG podcast.
Oh, no, you're good.
It's not now. But they were just, they walk in, they're drinking, they're having a great time doing their Christmas shopping.
Okay.
And it's all like their moms, their daughters, their grandmas. It's really cool.
Okay.
And I was like, man, that's a really cool vibe.
Yeah.
And then, so that's on Thursday night. And then, it's Friday all day. And I'm like, there is no way this place is going to be packed on a Friday. Well, I was wrong.
Yeah.
People obviously in Nashville don't work on Fridays.
Yeah.
Because that place was packed from 9 a.m. to like 6 p.m.
Yeah. Well, and just think about, because CMA Fest is the same week, as Expo. So people are literally, I got asked to be with the pageant system I'm sponsoring. They want me to come do like a meet and greet type thing at the Music City Center, or whatever. But it's like on like Thursday and then like middle of the day or something like that. But it's like because there's something happening all throughout, the week. So it's again, it's not abnormal. But I'm like, are people really going to show up? And like, I don't know.
Shocked.
But like, exactly.
You will be shocked. It will be.
And
packed.
that's what they said. Yeah. So people will make the trip for those things.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, even with the what was it, the Arnold. I went up on Thursday night, I think, and then Friday,
Yep,
and was
all day
there.
Friday.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then the show that night. So it could be something where it's like you got to have it intriguing enough to where it's
Yeah.
like that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and
people
what
would
I've
want to
done, like too, because we do the Arnold.
yeah.
Sundays are dead.
Yes.
Like it dies at 2:00.
Well, because everybody's got to get back.
Everybody's got to get back.
Like I
Yeah.
had to get back. I
Yeah.
couldn't be there. Like, and so it was kind of like I didn't, I tried to just see everything I could. I mean, because I did a sweep. I was, it was.
You was all over the place. I saw your videos.
Yeah, I was everywhere talking to everybody. But like, I mean, I made it. Like I did a good job. But and then at the Olympia, that was cool too. But definitely a different vibe as well. Because I didn't know how different they would be.
That's what my people said. They were like, because we did a booth
I
there
went
as
to it,
well.
yeah.
And he's like, it's not the same.
It's not. Mm-mm. And I think because it's so much more bodybuilding focused versus, I mean, that's the Arnold is too, but you still have other athletes that are doing so many other things, and it's just different.
Yeah.
I really enjoy both, like I said, but yeah, I think that this year is going to be really cool to see how much growth Expo has had and everything like that. So do you know how many total booths that you've of sponsors or people?
163, 67.
Nice.
I've sold 2 today, so it's in that. It's less than 170.
Okay.
Because 170 is like
Capping
I've
it,
got people in corners.
Yeah.
So
What
we
is-
had cut it off at 160, but
Okay.
I'm not going to turn down a couple bucks.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah,
What is and what are the other group fitness activities that are going to be there?
See, you kick off the morning. I've got you singing the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
And then
People would be leaving. People would they would walk in, walk right out.
Danielle's pulling double duty.
Oh man. You do not want me singing.
So you kick off the morning, and I'm going off memory. I think there's a short break.
Okay.
Rock Box out
Okay.
of Murfreesboro. I think they got a Franklin location too. They're doing a thing.
Okay.
Then Camp Gladiator doing a thing. Then Bikini Fashion Show. Then Burn Boot Camp.
Okay.
And I think that's it. I think Sweat 440 was supposed to do something. I need to double check my notes.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I'm flying by the seat of my
I got
pants.
you. No worries.
But,
Yeah. How is the stage going to be? Like,
so that's going to be cool.
yeah.
In previous years, we do the LED walls in
Yes.
each room
Yep.
and air. We didn't have the whole building.
Yeah.
So we had one, like a 4x6
Yes.
deal in one room. And that was cool. You
Yeah.
aired commercials on it and information and stuff. It's neat. It's
Yeah,
different, right?
For sure.
So we were going to do 2, one in each on the opposite ends. And the more I got thinking about it, I'm like, what if we just do one big ass one?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, where would I put it?
Right.
I'm like, I'll put it behind the stage.
I love it.
So,
I love that.
There's a staging company, which how they had staging left this week, don't know.
Right.
They let me pay for it, so it's mine.
Okay. There you
Yeah,
go. There you go.
It's, I forget how many feet long. I want to say 20.
Okay.
And then there's like the piece that juts out into the middle.
Okay.
So that's going to be pretty wild because you
Okay.
could have, like, during your class, you can have people in front of you and each side of you.
Yes.
So that's going to be pretty cool.
Right.
And then behind is a 10-foot long video wall that's like 6 foot tall.
Cool.
So get your video ready if you don't have it ready.
Yep.
So that's going to be pretty wicked.
Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to Love Your Body podcast. If you haven't yet, please make sure you're subscribing and following so you're never missing an episode. Also, if you are part of DDF After Dark, I'm so thankful for you. But if you're not yet, please message me about any questions you have. Would love to have you see our exclusive episodes and all the exclusive things coming out with Dani Fitness here soon. So stay tuned for that. And also, you guys, you can purchase Fight Energy energy at DaniFitness.com, as well as message me on Instagram for any questions you have with that. And we have upcoming events and the Love Your Body Challenge happening in July. So stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Roy Mangrum with Music City Fit Expo. Want to invite you out June 8th, Nashville Fairgrounds. Come out and meet all your favorite celebrities. Jay Cutler, Brian Shaw, Lee Priest, Ziggler Monster. That's a real person, I promise. Sydney Wells. All of them will be there. You can get tickets for $15 at Eventbrite or at musiccityfitexpo.com.
You're just constantly learning about yourself and everything like that,
God,
but
yeah.
also like how to do things more efficiently. And like, I don't know. I think I'm like, there's so much to be done, and I just get excited. And so I kind of have to like reel it back for a moment and be like, okay, it's all right. Wait till tomorrow. Or like, it's okay. You know,
Well,
to
you
not
can't do it all in a day.
Right.
Ever.
Yes.
You know,
And-
regardless.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's where like talking with you and, talking with Tyler and them, like just like having those people to, really kind of sit with and be like, hey, like, how can I streamline this? Or how can I, do this more efficiently? Or like, what is, you know what I mean? And that's been very helpful. So I really do appreciate it and all the insight you always give. But about the stage, because
Yes.
I love a good stage.
Let's talk about the stage.
I know, seriously. And also too, if you were ever planning to get up on there for anybody else's thing, no, like move fit. Do a set, like do a class. Like, you know what I mean? Like come up there. I will tell you, when Matt and them, like my strongman friends, when they did, and I put that on TikTok, that one had like almost 100,000 views, maybe more, of them doing just like move fit.
Okay.
And I was like, if you want to get some whatever,
We'll
like
see.
I'm just saying.
It depends on how my morning's going.
Yeah. Well, and that was something else I was going to say is that, because you are handling so much, if at any point it gets to the point where you're like, I want to really grow that group fitness aspect and make it like just incredible, like I would love to be a part of that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, because again,
Careful
people,
what you wish for with
I'm
me.
just saying, like, if you're trying to bring me on the team, like, but because that was my like specialty with things, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for
And
sure.
so I definitely, love that vibe, and I think it's important, and it just get people moving,
I think that's a big part of anytime you do anything, right? In any business, you're either going to be different than or less than or better than. Well, being better than the Arnold, that's tough.
Yeah.
Right? Just starting.
Yeah.
I mean, they got 1,000 vendors and,
Yeah.
all this thing. All right, we can't do that. So less than, not an option, right? So be different than.
Yes.
And like you said, they're not leaning into it. Okay, well, we will lean into it.
Right. Yeah.
So.
No, I love it. Was there anything?
Yeah, when you say whenever you're coming.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just gonna say, no, I mean, I think on the stage, I think it'll be good. Like I said, but you said when they enter. So basically, can you go over real quick so when people show up so they know what to expect? Like, there's gonna be people there taking their ticket, and then they.
So when you pull in off of Wedgwood, which I assume the majority of people will, off of 65, right when you pull into the fairgrounds, whatever they charge for parking.
Yeah.
It's not me.
Yeah.
It's the fairgrounds.
It's usually like $10.
Yeah, it's $5 or $10.
Yeah. So bring cash.
Yep, bring cash. Bring cash, period, anyway. Once you park, you'll see there's a huge LED wall outside that you will not have any question of where you're at. So big old picture of Jay Cutler and Brian Shaw on it.
Nice. Okay.
So just walk toward that, and you'll see, hopefully there's a line, and you just go get in line. There's a line for VIP and a line for general admission. If you don't have a ticket yet, I can go ahead and tell you, you will be in general admission.
Yeah.
VIPs are sold out.
Yeah.
So you get in line. As soon as you walk through, there's staff is like 6 people right there. You can pay with a card. You can pay with cash, whatever at the door. They'll give you the bracelet.
Yeah.
And as soon as you look up, you're going to see there's like 3 big, huge booths right there. They're like title sponsor and stuff like that. And then at the back of the room's that big LED wall where the stage is.
Okay. Awesome. Let's go.
Yeah. So,
I love it.
yeah, it's going to be crazy. And there's I think there's what's the Tesla truck called?
Cybertruck.
The Cybertruck. There's a Cybertruck that's going to be parked in there.
Okay.
I don't know what that has to do with fitness other than just it's badass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just cool.
Yeah. And I've been telling everybody, like the guy that owns it wants everybody to put their fingers on it, which he does not. But I'm telling
that's
everybody that
so
just to mess with him.
Funny.
Yeah, I know. It's funny.
Oh my gosh.
He's going to be mad at me.
That's wild.
But anyway, so that's going to be cool.
Okay.
But that's the first room you walk into.
Yeah.
Of course, tons of booths, the VIP areas in the very back.
Okay.
So to differentiate the VIP and the general admission,
Right.
both get it. They get to see everything and do everything.
Yeah.
There's not a difference there. You can meet Jay Cutler, Brian Shaw,
Nice.
Sidney Wells, Danny D. You meet,
Yeah.
It's all that, right? You get with either ticket.
Yeah.
The only difference is like if you ever go to Disney World and you get the fast pass,
I did do that.
that's the difference.
Yeah.
So the VIPs get a fast
hate a
pass,
line. Yeah.
right? Me too.
Yeah.
What's funny is like, that was Terry's idea. I was like, Terry, nobody's going to buy a damn VIP ticket for this.
No, if they waited that line last year, they would.
Well, exactly. So, but here's what's funny, Danny. We didn't even think about the line part.
Oh.
So, me and my wife were in Alabama, in Huntsville, seeing her dad. And Jay Cutler calls my phone, which is hilarious when you see that number pop up. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. Right.
I got to show everybody in the room.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jay Cutler's calling me. I have to go. Be right back.
Casual. Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta take this. You know.
So I'm like, fanboy, calm down. All right.
Right.
What's up, Jay?
Yeah.
You know. And so he'll just call, which is boggles my mind because I've been a fan of his since I
know
was
you
a
have.
kid.
Yeah.
And he's like, wow, Roy, what's up, bro? And blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Just shooting the shit. Like
Yeah.
he's calling for no reason.
Yeah.
And then he's like, how's planning going? You need anything for me? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, just kind of give him the rundown. I said,
Yeah.
I brought up the VIP ticket. And he's
Right.
like, you know what would be cool? He's like, it's kind of like a fast pass.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we could call it the flex pass. He's like, dude, there you go.
There you go. I love it.
And it's like, all right. So then when we started advertising that's what the VIP ticket had, and then we sold out
Right.
immediately.
That's awesome.
So I'll give
Yay.
Jay the idea on that. He's
Yeah.
like the people in GA will be pissed off, but maybe they'll just buy VIP next year.
There you go.
I'm like, there you go.
100%. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. That's his idea.
And I do want to say, like, thank you so much for bringing him
That was pretty cool, wasn't
to
it?
my
You
booth.
was shocked.
I was shocked because I was just so in, like, somebody was talking, like, they were all talking to me.
You just looked up and there's Jay Cutler in your
literally,
face.
and I was just like, oh, hi, a picture? Yes. Flex? Yes. Mom, y'all want to talk? Like, I was just like, Vicky, like,
Did I tell you the story how I met him?
at the Arnold, right?
Yeah,
And you were
so-
in passing.
So this is, God, I'm so old. How long? So this is probably 20 years ago. He had not won Mr. Olympia.
Oh, okay.
He had won an Arnold Classic, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
When we're riding around.
Right? Y'all chilling, drinking
yeah.
a beer, yeah.
But he had been doing a meet and greet at the Arnold.
Yeah.
It's my first time ever at the Arnold.
Okay.
We just walked into the expo hall. This is flip phone era,
Yeah.
okay? So none of this cool shit. It was like
Yeah.
shit pictures on your flip phone
Yep.
that you can't see even then. I turned this corner.
Yeah.
At the time I was powerlifting, so I was big dude.
Yeah.
I turned this corner and run square into him, like shoulder to shoulder.
Oh my gosh.
And I just looked at him and he looked at me. I goes, you're Jay Cutler. He goes, yes, sir, I am.
Yeah.
That was, and I'm like, can I get a picture?
Right.
And I pull out this stupid flip phone.
phone.
I mean, that's what everybody had.
Yeah.
And it couldn't have been cooler.
Yeah.
He took a picture. He's like, all right, man, I'll see you. I got to go eat.
Yeah.
And they were hauling him off to go eat pasta and grilled chicken.
I love that.
But
So
that's-
did you reach out to him like so many years later for the expo,
So,
or had you
yeah.
kept in contact, or?
No, so I had never talked to him since.
Okay.
And of course, back then, there was no... People like that were not accessible to us, right?
Right, yeah.
If
You didn't have Instagram, you could just DM
yes,
them.
there's
Yeah.
none of that.
Yeah.
So, followed him. I'd watch his videos. I remember when I used to have the office job, I would just sit and watch jaywalking all the time.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious now. But, so, the first year we did the expo, I remember telling Terry, I was like, we need a celebrity
Yeah.
meet and greet. And he's like, well, who would you get? And I was like, Jay Cutler,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm going for the GOAT to start.
Yes. Love
He's
that.
like, okay, who's Jay Cutler?
Right.
I'm like,
could totally,
Terry.
I knew you were going to say that.
He was thinking football. I'm like, damn
Yeah.
it, Terry.
Oh, you had to.
He
Yeah.
did. And okay, I get it. So I exposed him to him. He's like, oh, man, that would be great if you could make that happen.
Yeah.
So I shot him like a couple of DMs,
Yeah.
nothing. And this went on for about a month.
Yeah.
I'd send him a DM probably about once a week.
Yeah.
Finally, they sent me a DM back for an email address
Okay.
and said, you can contact Jay's manager here.
Okay.
Which, pulling the curtain back, he did not give me Jay's manager. He gave me his.
Okay.
It was Jay on the Instagram, but he was,
Yes.
this is the dance, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I email, and Jay or Angie, which is his fiance, I don't think they're married yet,
Okay.
email me back.
Okay.
And it was like, Jay would like to have a call with you.
Yeah.
So this was January that
Yeah.
year. He calls. I missed the call, Dani.
Oh no.
Goes to my voicemail. I'm like, mother freaking,
Right.
because my phone rings.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking anything about
Oh,
it.
yeah, it's just
because he
another
didn't say
day.
when he was calling.
Yep.
Anyway, I call him right back.
Yeah.
Goes to his voicemail. Son of a, I missed my chance.
Yeah.
I'm cussing. We were setting a booth up at an event. I was
Right.
telling Jeremy, my business partner, about my phone rings right back.
Yeah.
And I answer, it's Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, whew, okay. So he didn't talk. The coolest thing about Jay, we didn't talk money.
Yeah.
We didn't talk any of that. He wanted to know why we did the expo
Okay. Love it.
and what my involvement was with it. And I explained, we resurrected it.
Yep.
It had fallen to the side because of COVID. The guy that was doing it was no longer
Yep.
kind of associated with the fitness industry that way. And we thought it was important to bring it back.
Yeah.
And that's why we're doing it. It's not a money grab.
Yeah.
We're actually, obviously, spending
Yes.
the money we're making. And he's like, all right, well, I'm supposed to be at FitCon that weekend, but I'm going to call and cancel and come into yours.
I love it.
Okay. I hope I did not get anybody offended by saying he's supposed to, but it was some event in Utah. I think he said
Yes.
FitCon.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he came in, I picked him up at the airport, took him to the hotel. Could not have been a nicer guy.
Yeah.
And the next morning I picked him up. Also give him he's a shoe guy and I'm a shoe guy.
Yeah.
So I got him a pair of Jordan 1s. That's his jam.
Okay.
So that was his welcome gift to Nashville.
Nice.
So I gave him the Jordan 1s and dropped him off at his hotel. The next morning I picked him up and he goes, can I ask you a question? I'm like, yeah. He's like, why didn't you ask for a picture? I'm like, dude, I think that's rude. You're a person just like me.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you came here. I don't want to
yeah.
be odd. And he's like, dude, that's so refreshing.
Yeah.
And then we just, from there on out, we were like bros. It
Yeah.
was just, we were talking and shooting the
awesome.
shit. And then the event goes on. Could not have been more gracious. Stood
Yeah.
there for 6 hours.
I know.
He
It
gets
was
paid
cool.
for 4.
Yeah.
Stood there for 6.
That's awesome.
We got back in the car. We're driving him to the hotel. And I said, well, what did you think? I said, this is the second event I've ever put on. I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, dude, it's one of the best events we've ever done. It's probably the longest line I've ever had. And I was like, cool. So you would come back? He's like, you doing it next year? I was like, yep. He's like, go ahead and put me down. I'll be here.
Yay.
And I was like, how cool is that? So here's the second part of that story.
Okay.
So that's how I met him.
Okay.
Year 2, or year 3, I'm like, okay, that was great. Let's do more of that.
Right.
Who's the next person I'm going to go after?
Yeah.
Brian Shaw.
Yeah.
Like, how do I get to Brian Shaw? I'm sending him DMs. Nothing.
Right.
Finally,
And Brian is it World's Strongest Man or was it?
World's Strongest Man.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
And then he was on that.
I know that name. I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah. Him and Eddie Hall do a lot of TV stuff. They're hilarious together,
Yes.
which you would not picture those two being funny.
Right.
Just big, strong, mean dudes.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so I finally get Brian Shaw's manager,
Okay.
Matt,
Okay.
to get back in touch with me.
Yeah.
And sets up a call.
Okay.
I'm at the shop. I'm working. He calls my phone.
Right.
I get on the phone with him. Hey, this is Roy. And I'm getting ready to give him the hard pitch, right?
Yes.
I'm going to pitch him the expo.
Yeah.
He just cuts me off. Roy, let me save you. save your breath. I think Sally said it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, shit, I guess that's not going very well. He's like, we talked to Jay the other day. We're in.
Nice.
So Jay sold Brian
Yeah.
on coming to the expo. I didn't have to do anything.
That's epic. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
That is.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I love that. And then the other two. So
Yeah,
Sydney
so-
Wells and
yeah.
who's the other guy?
So it just keeps getting better.
Okay.
So Sydney Wells, CrossFit Games athlete.
Yeah.
Her sister Brooke. They're twins.
Okay.
I think Brooke may have went to the games first.
Okay.
I could have that backwards, but anyway, I know Sydney went last year and Brooke did not.
Okay.
They both live in Nashville. I didn't
Oh,
know
I knew
this.
that.
Okay, me either.
Okay.
Anyway, just looking at adding more experiences that are not bodybuilding
Right.
or right. So if I've got strongman and I've got
Bodybuilding, yeah.
bodybuilding, I need something else, right?
Yeah.
So CrossFit, let's go.
Good. Yeah.
So I was actually going for another athlete, and he's like, well, she's booked. She's out of town or doing whatever on vacation, getting her hair done. But Sydney is available. I'm like, Sydney who? He said, Sydney Wells. I was like, oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
she lived in Nashville. He's like, yeah, dude, she lives here.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. Is she available? Yep. Cool. Done.
Nice.
S Force Watches, who is one of our title sponsors, reaches out to me. Hey, I'd love to be a title sponsor. I'm like, awesome. Love to have you. He's like, do you know who Lee Priest is? I'm like, absolutely. I know who Lee Priest is. He's a bodybuilding legend.
Okay. Gotcha.
He's like, can I bring him and put him in my booth?
You're like casual.
You know what? I'm going to have to think about it and get back to
Right.
you.
You're like, let me get back to you, but like most likely,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I'm like,
I love it.
yeah. I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, so this guy hits me up, Ziegler Monster. His name's David Ziegler.
Okay.
And I'm so embarrassed. I did not know who he was.
Okay.
I'm not on the TikTok a lot, Dani.
Okay.
Believe
yeah.
that or not.
I got you.
A little busy.
Yeah.
And this guy reached out to me wanting to do a meet and greet and all this. And I'm like, I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
So I got on the phone with him and I talked, super nice guy.
Yeah.
And I apologized profusely. I was like, if I came off rude, didn't mean to be rude. I didn't know who you were.
Yeah.
I looked him up, like 2.3 million followers or something
Okay.
ridiculous. And then like another million followers
what does
on.
he do?
He's just a social media. He was a power lift or bodybuilder.
Okay.
But now he's like more of the influencer type. And he does some awesome content. He does like this thing called Guest Pass,
Okay.
where it's not like going in and giving you a review of a gym, but like if he went to a gym,
Yeah.
what would you expect going there? Hey, here's the kind of equipment they have.
Okay,
And here's
cool.
their hours and here's
Yeah.
what they charge. It's a guest pass. Like
Yeah.
if you're going to Nashville, you watch Guest Pass.
Yeah.
He's going to tell you what it's like to go to Carbon.
That's
He's going to tell you
cool.
what it's like
All
to go to
right.
Quantum.
I like
right?
it. Yeah.
Awesome. So he's coming.
Yeah.
So that worked out. Which is funny because on the way here, when you walked outside and I was on the phone, is my buddy going, dude, how'd you get David Ziegler here? I'm like, dude, I did not know who he was.
Right, yeah.
You know, I feel so stupid, but
Yeah.
it's just hard to keep up with everything sometimes.
No, for sure. And that's always like, I think those are the most impressionable ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you'll end up like thinking about later on. You're like, man, that's so cool. And a nice surprise too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. I love that.
So it's like literally everything fell into place that was supposed to fall into place.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
it's just nice when that happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it's because, again, you're working hard. You know, you're out here, fighting for what you want, all the
There you
things.
go.
And so that's awesome. I love that. And
Yeah.
you manifested that too. You know what I mean? About Jay and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just does take like one person that is like, that believes.
Dude,
and that's
you ain't kidding.
So that's
all it
awesome.
takes.
I know, Logan, do you want to get on the mic? Because you said you had a couple questions.
What's up, everybody? Oh my God!
He's been sitting in the corner
I
the whole
got a
time.
mic. I got a mic because I've always want to say stuff, so I throw things and then people can't hear me,
Yeah.
which is understandably frustrating. Hello, everyone.
Yeah,
Can't see me,
There
but
he
I'm
is.
here.
There he
I
is.
love
So I wanted to ask you first of all about the Jay Cutler thing in
Yeah.
particular, but just kind of that whole thing that you just said. Like stepping out of it from a business perspective.
Yeah.
Are you able to pour a drink and have a cigar and be like, "This is insane"? Like the Jay Cutler, the guy that I used to watch.
You just gave me
Dude,
goosebumps.
it gave me goosebumps when you were telling the story about a minute ago. So that was my first one.
I get a little emotional, but I don't. and I should. I don't allow myself to celebrate the wins as much as I should. But like, you know, going back, like, dude, you know, 10 years ago, I'm living in a shit town, making no money in a life I effing hated.
Right.
Well, no, I take it back. Don't say 10 years. It's like 12, 13 years now. And I met my wife, and I leave this town. The only people I knew was in this town. And then I move here, and, you know, just everything started to change. And when you get a core people, or just not even a core people, but people that believe in you, that make you believe in yourself.
Yes.
That's when you can unlock shit and do things that you never thought possible. 100%. You know, all my life growing up, it's like, you should settle for working in this cardboard factory because that's a good job at $8.75 an hour.
Right.
But I knew I had more in me than that. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how I was going to figure it out, but I knew I had more. And then moving here, I started Barbell Voodoo. I do that full time. I don't report to anybody. I do what the fuck I want.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid sitting here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And then you were talking about manifesting and saying, I'm going to get Jay Cutler to my event.
Yeah.
And then him sitting in my Tahoe talking about shoes.
Right.
You know how ridiculous that feels?
Yeah. It feels not real.
It's absurd.
Right.
That's why whenever you brought that up that he's a shoe guy, I was thinking, dude, you got to be thinking like, I wanted to, like, you thought it was a pipe dream to get this dude to come to your event, and you're just sitting there bullshitting with him about Jordans.
Dude,
Right.
He's like, and he's asking me, what shoes do you have? And I'm like, well, I'm wearing Fruit Loops today. And then,
Right.
you know, it's just, it's absurd.
Yeah.
And just to do that, you know, and I will probably, there's usually a minute like during the day, like usually around after 10 o'clock, you know, that's when the rush coming in the door kind of slows down, and I can just kind of get in a corner and look. You're on stage, you're doing your thing, and I can kind of see all the pieces are working, the machine's working, and then you can kind of take a deep breath. But yeah, I purposefully this year have not celebrated. I'm also like paranoid.
Yeah.
I don't want to celebrate yet.
You're like superstitious sometimes. I feel like I am too.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm like, I will celebrate once we've crossed the finish line. I don't want to be the guy who's like, and then the guy comes bolting past me. I'm like, I missed it, you know. So
I thought that was Ricky, and I relate to that a lot, where you feel like somebody's gonna come over your shoulder and take it from you.
Yeah.
Dude,
Like,
absolutely.
Like, you feel like, oh, Jay's, you know, you get really
Keeps
excited.
you sharp though. I think it keeps you sharp. Yeah.
It
That's where
does.
anxiety helps
You know,
in some ways. Yeah.
never get comfortable. As soon as you get comfortable, you die.
Well, and we talked about, and that goes for a healthy lifestyle, that goes for everything. But that was something that we've been talking about, and kind of a theme of, it just takes one person who believes in you or who sees you, or, you know, and that's what I dealt with, you know, with getting my trainer that I had, you know, Matt, back in the day. It was just one person that believed and treated me differently than every gym in Nashville.
And it
every
gave you all the confidence in the world.
Because I was like, I've been thinking this, but like no one seems to, you know, help me feel this way. So I just kind of, I didn't want to settle. I wanted to keep trying. So it's like when people sit there and they're like, you know, oh, I've tried 3 classes. Okay. I tried like 50, maybe more, guys. Like maybe like to find my fit. I actually, you know, like I did an online program with someone I looked up to, Kaisa, you know, and had her on the podcast back in the day. She's got 1 million followers, whatever. But it just, I needed that person in person for me. Yeah. And it was one of those things where it's the same thing with this. It's like, just because you've tried, you know, 3 times or 10 times DMing him, right? It just takes the one, you know, for him to answer and get back to you.
Well, you know, if it would have been 5 years ago, if he didn't answer after the first DM, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you know, and I am, you know, even though I'm sitting here cussing, I am religious, right? I go to church every Sunday, and I know that God puts you through certain things to prepare for what's down the road that you don't see coming. Yes. There are so many situations that especially in the past year and a half, because the past year and a half has been wild, that I'm like, God, I see this less, as soon as it happens and I'm prepared to handle it, I'm like, dude, that was from 7 years ago.
Yeah.
In like situations like that, I'm learning, okay, well, if I want it, I'm going to make it happen.
Right.
It's just, it's not a matter of if, it's when.
Exactly.
He's going to answer me just to tell me to shut up.
Yeah.
And then I'll make my pitch.
Right.
That's when you talk about manifestation a lot.
It's 100% right. It works.
It's like people that try to twist it, right?
Yeah.
But it's like what you just said. Like it's a matter of when, not if. That's basically what manifestation is. It's like this is what I'm going to do.
Yes.
And it's a matter of when, not if.
And that's the thing too that I think people, what I always have said about manifestation. I mean, I truly do believe it comes from the Lord. You know what I mean? Like that was on His path. Like He presented all the things. It was on me to either follow down that or choose my will, my stuff, whatever. And that was like when with the whole influencership with Connect. I did not force anything. Like I didn't want to live in my parents' house forever.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where all my clients every day in Franklin would be like, "Hey, like when are you gonna move out of your parents' house? Have you looked at that house on the road?" I'm like, "Yeah, I looked at the 1 billion house." You're right, I saw it, but I was like, "Nah, it's not up to standard." But anyway, and,
my bank account's not up to standard.
right. And so anyway, I was like, "You gonna buy it for me?" But no, but it was just so funny because literally I just kept saying, "I'm not gonna pay to live in Nashville. I'm not gonna pay to live in I'm not gonna pay to live here. Like I'm not gonna do this." And I had no timeline. I was like, I gotta move out by 25. I gotta move out by 25. Like, cause I technically could have bought a house.
Sure, of course.
Could have put a down payment down. Could have moved out, whatever. But I was like, something's coming. I don't know what.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like. And then Jenna sends me an email. Right. And then that goes through. Right. So it was, and the same thing too about the whole DMing things. I think that people think that those people see their messages all the time. And they don't. And it's like one of those things where people cause when I was 24, I guess, or maybe it was, I don't know, I started my business, 24. So maybe I was 23. Yeah. And it was like right before 2024 and I messaged Shape Magazine. Okay. Yeah. They have all those followers. And I said on there, I was like, "Hey, my name is Dani D. I have this Love Your Body initiative and I would love to partner with you guys and whatever, right? This whole message. Yeah. Okay. And no one read it. And I checked back to see and whatever. And I was like, nobody has seen it. This is crazy. I was liking all their stuff, whatever. Anyway, fast forward, I think it was 3 or maybe it was 4 years later, 5 years later, when the video went viral. Yeah. Okay. A contact who was the editor-in-chief at the time of Shape had reached out. And so anyway, so we got that and basically she
still hadn't seen the message.
Had not seen the message. No, because because here's what happens though. She told me, she said, "Look, basically I said I want to be in the magazine. Okay, that's what I want to be. I want to be on the cover of a magazine, but I was like, I want to be in the magazine." Yeah. And she said, "Look, we have this initiative for virtual training and stuff or whatever with Shape Squad instructors happening all over because of the pandemic. Show us what you got." Yeah. And we'll go on from there. So what did I do? I contacted Nissan Stadium. I contacted Connect Nashville, and I contacted the place. And I went to all those locations and taught. But I then was able to run Shape's Instagram. They gave me their Instagram, their password. So I ran their account for the week. Okay. And you know what I saw in the messages? Thousands of that you could never even check. And I looked back at my message and saw that it wasn't and so I liked it. And I said that you know what I mean? It was read. It did get read.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
That's such a crazy, wild, full circle for both of you in those two examples. Such a crazy full circle. You sent that message. You're like, oh, somebody can look at it.
But the fact that I took it personal. I was like, why wouldn't they look at my thing? There's thousands. I mean, 10,000 messages they had never opened.
How would you know?
Exactly.
But just think about how crazy it is that you were you send this. I'm just trying to wrap my brain around the fact that you send this message and the person that was going to view it was you.
Yeah. Right? Can we get some sound effects
right there?
You sent it to Shape Magazine thinking somebody else was going to read it, but life would have it that you were the one that
person to read her message to Shape was her.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was sick. And it was so nostalgic and it was so beautiful.
That gave me chills again, dude.
Right?
I'm like, what the hell?
But it was that thing though of that I didn't let, and what you don't let happen is, fear. Because why not? Right? Even if I would have known that they didn't look at those messages, it's I was at the point at that time where I was like, I'm going to share this message.
Well, but that's the thing. So just because, and I get it, right? Mm-hmm. I've always got a chip on my shoulder. but you were like, I'm going to take action regardless.
Yeah.
I'm going to take all this action, and it will get noticed.
Like they may be like, oh, those are such unique situations. And like, yes, they are. But here's the thing that like at the end of the day, I can't control if someone chooses me, if someone puts me out wherever. I can't control how others view me. I can't, none of that.
No.
I can only control what I contribute, how I show up, what I do, and my intentions, right? So it's one of those things where, you know, it's not having resentment about anything. If there are no timelines with stuff, like they're going to see. Mm-hmm. I don't have a timeline for things. You know, I've been talking about getting on Survivor for years now, right? But like you don't know. You don't know when that'll happen or what will happen or whatever. Yeah. But I do know that I'm still going to be working hard. Yeah. I'm still going to keep showing up. I'm going to be at these community events. I'm going to help as many people as possible. And, you know, we just were at a charity, I just went to a charity event and I was there. And, you know, I was thinking nobody was really going to like, you know, say much. And it was just going to be like, here, and I passed out bands to all the kids and stuff. And that was a good time. But literally all these random people came up to me and they were like, hey, they didn't even really know about my business, but they knew about the podcast. And they're like, I listened to your podcast. And even these That's men. Cool. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, thank you so much. Like, that means the world to me. But it was just like those moments and those gems where, because I debated about going there. Because I was like, man, I'm going to get stressed out. Maybe I'll just give the money, donate, not be there, right? Yeah. Had some help and had friends and people helped out to get us all set up and whatever, and was out there and ended up being a beautiful day. And then that, even just that one comment, you know, from the, like the man that I'm thinking of, whose child this was for the fundraiser, he was like, I listen to your podcast all the time and I love it.
That's crazy.
Right. And it was just like, that was the gem that like made me feel like this all was worth it. Yeah. So like when you're talking about the expo and stuff, I really know, cause you're like me in this way where it's like, obviously we always can do better. There can be more done, or why didn't we think about this? Or why didn't we do that? Whatever. But really, I hope that you're able to look at it and appreciate like that you are doing something. Even if people who are a part of it don't even realize it yet, they will know later on. You know what I mean? They're going to...
It's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of...
Yes.
The time commitment would blow your mind.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the details and how much thought we put into details.
Right.
Like,
well, and nobody sees that, and no one honestly cares. Like, especially with like MoveFit pop-ups and stuff, they don't understand that I spend what I spend to put those on, and they just like, oh, like you're just doing a thing like here. It's like, yeah, you guys, like, and they don't have any clue. And so, for example, the last MoveFit that I did at the one hotel, right? If I would have rented out, so literally 2 days before the people from Breaking Bad, Bryan Cranston or whatever, like they had that as a private event at that rooftop, okay? Like that was what they were doing there.
Damn.
The PR people had connected with me multiple times just for sending me like influencerships for food and stuff, whatever. Anyway, long story short, I was like, look, here's a moment where you're trying to bring, like, is there like a way that we can partner together where it doesn't put me financially under and it elevates you guys so that you promote the, like your people you're representing, and then they get the benefit of having people at their space. And they're like, yeah, what do you have in mind? So I pitched the MoveFit, brought Stretch Labs there, so it was whatever. Anyway, beautiful location, amazing, it's seamless, and it was so bougie. It had what was it? When you pull up, valet. Yeah, valet. Oh, yeah. And I was just like, let's go. Like, it was so simple. But anyway, it had this amazing DJ. Anyway, and I had my friend, he came and did the videographer for free. Like, it was just so cool. And it was one of those things where I'm like, if people don't realize that if I wouldn't have had that connection with the brand house, like it would have easily been like $6,000 for me to be at that spot. And the $25 tickets I'm doing for MoveFit with the people, you know what I mean? Because they said you can't have more than 30 people. So we didn't have more than that. Yeah. So it's like, I don't do math, but like that's not going to equal.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But people don't get that. And it's with this on the scale, I mean, yeah. Like I remember when the festivals I did, almost like killed me because I was
gonna say earlier I didn't have a mic, but I was a part of those two of them. Two of the Find Your Fit festivals, and I swear to God that you're not gonna believe me, but I was randomly just driving around the other day thinking, I swear to you, I was thinking that was so awesome. Yeah. Like I can't even believe that she did that. Like just especially having those two back to back and having the one at Fontenelle and everything.
Yeah.
But looking at all the different ways that kind of spread out after the fact, like with different people, like Roy for example, it's pretty crazy. I think it was awesome that you did that. I know it didn't turn out exactly like you wanted to continue going. COVID happened and all these kind of things, but I think it was amazing.
But
personally,
I do think, and this is why I want to circle back to the last like charity event that I went to, that the I realized that I had held a lot of resentment about not being able to fulfill that. Like, if that was that something that I was supposed to continue down that path and have that festival, or whatever, right? And I'll never say never with things, but for me it was like, I had some resentment with that. But then when we were at that event, I was at the event the other day, I sat there and I had genuine conversations with these people. I talked with people. I heard their stories. I heard a lot of females that were going through some things and been through some things. And they were like, I'm just so happy to meet you. And if I would have kept up with those festivals, things would have gone down. There's no way, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't have been in that space to be the person where I feel like what God has put me on this earth to do is to bring people together, have that community.
Have you ever heard the saying, just because you can doesn't mean you should?
Yes. Yeah.
And sometimes that is very true.
Right.
And I have to always kind of use that to check myself with, I get a lot of things presented to me like, hey, will you help me with this business? And I'm like, oh, I could see myself doing that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, there's going to be a time commitment.
Yeah.
And, you know, just because I can, doesn't mean I should.
And that's the thing too, because I haven't got to catch up with you about the stuff that happened with all my stress and whatever. But basically they were like, I ended up getting like a now autoimmune like disease or whatever. And and so like my vision is messed up in my left eye now. Anyway, but I believe like God's going to heal me in his own time. Yeah. It'll be all right. But point is that all that happened because of the stress. And like that's what they literally said. And it wasn't even that it was like, so it was a lot of stuff, but it was my reaction around those things. And again, it was either resentment or it was the driving, or it was like, why can't someone just meet me halfway? Or why is it you know what I mean? It just felt like just digging into a hole, right? And then more was asked of me, and more I couldn't say no, and I had to do this, And so now it is very like, I have to be super particular with what I do, like. Exactly. Even with the expo and stuff, I had to be like, I'd have a real sit down conversation, be like, look, I will do this move fit. I will do this, and really piece it out like that. Hired an assistant, and just doing things to help alleviate that. Sure. And even having the home gym, like that YB, like that was such a godsend. And like, I wouldn't have known about Crane Fitness.
How many hours a day that saves you?
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. Well, you remember when I was driving from Murfreesboro to Franklin to Nashville every day. It was I was literally taking meetings in the car, eating my food in the car. Yeah, I was doing the podcast in Murfreesboro.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And so it was
you just have your food delivered, you stay right here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. And so, but that's the thing is people don't realize that like how all that happened was such a God thing, because I just, and people have always said like, oh, we want you to own your own, like your gym and stuff like that. And I was like, no, like that's not really what I want, because I know what it's like. I've seen it. No, I would not want to do that. And now again, if someone wants to sponsor me a gym, by all means, I will then, as a different story, and I'm your girl. So that's another thing. But so this has been so cool. But Crane, I saw, was a sponsor for the expo. Yeah. So again, it's all very full circle, you guys. So it was, and me just picking up on, they kept liking all my stuff. I'm like, who are these people? But I kept looking at bigger brand names, right? And I'm thinking, who can get me a Stairmaster? That was my focus. I'm like, well, wait, I'm going to need some other things in there. Let me reach out to them, because maybe they have a Stairmaster. I don't know. They didn't have Stairmasters at the time, but they were like, look, we love your message. We love your mission. And I sat right there where you're sitting on the phone with them. And they're like, what do you need? And I was like,
how cool is that?
Well, I was like, floor and a squat rack. That was the first thing I said, squat rack, so I can like in a barbell, so I can do, plates and stuff, anyway. And then literally they came out here, and it was so wild, because after that, then like they brought their mirror guy that does mirrors and stuff just to like assess it, right? People don't understand, those 2 panels of mirrors would have been $3,000
expensive
for those. And when he says, I understand the arrangement you have with them, like, we'll honor it. And I was like, I don't know you from anybody, but thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm walking away. You know what I mean? It's like, y'all do your thing. I'm moving out of here. You know what I mean? And then when I started thinking, I was like, you know what? Like, anything is possible. And so I reached out to Core and Health Fitness, who they're a big sponsor, and like nationwide, right? For Stairmasters and all their equipment and everything like that. And I was like, look, like I would love to do more speaking engagements. could we figure out a way for me to speak at this event? And you guys, and whatever, and ended up doing that trade. I mean, dumbbells are expensive. People don't realize how expensive
They are very
dumbbells,
expensive.
especially the heavier ones. Like
$2 something a pound or something.
Well, and right now I'm actually doing a Stairmaster challenge, which when this comes out, we'll have already announced the winner. But I partnered with them, and so I'm doing the Miss Health and Fitness 2024 thing, and the charity is like the Be Positive Foundation. And so basically, like, you do a free daily vote, or people can donate to that or whatever. Well, I was like, okay. And Will Russ is the one that like gave me this idea, and I love him, and we're really good friends. And he was like, Dani, like, don't just be the girl that wins. He was like, be the girl that wins the most money for the charity. And I was like,
oh, that's good.
I was like, well, you're so right. Because I used to do like these type of challenges all the time, right? And so I was like, okay, put it together in like 2 days. And I was like, let's get the graphic, let's do the deal, promote it, whatever. So basically I was like, look, sign up before Memorial Day. All you have to do is a minimum of $20 votes, which people did more, which is great. Donate to this. You get entry into a stair climb challenge, as many floors as you can do. The max time though, 90 minutes. So that way like people didn't like go for 3 hours, whatever, safety things. I'm like, and then tag me and Core and Health. So we're going to partner with them, because then they're going to gift you, whoever wins, a free pair of dumbbells, but from anywhere from 10 pounds to 65 pounds.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they're also giving me a pair. So anyway, to facilitate it, right? So you see what I mean? So everybody wins.
Yeah.
They get promoted. They're going to see their equipment.
Yeah.
My clients get to be a part of a fun challenge, or even followers or whoever signed up, And then then the money goes to the charity. Love that. We all went, right?
Yeah.
And so, but it was just so cool, because again, it's like all of that came from, you know what I'm saying? Just like, again, being a part of the expo. And then before, but if you wouldn't have ever been a sponsor at my fitness festival,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because
Way
you could have
back in
been,
the day. That's right.
because you could have been really rude. You could have been like, I don't know who you are. I don't care. Like, I don't want to be at this event.
Didn't I reach out to you, or did you reach out to me?
I don't know. Ooh.
I can't remember.
Dani just randomly reached out to me to film some random event. One day. And I just started my business like a couple months before that. And then
I don't know if you would have emailed me or not. I can't remember. I think you did reach out to me, because I remember seeing the graphic, because I can almost picture it in my head.
Right.
But the graphic I'm thinking of had to be the second one, because you're wearing our booty shorts.
Uh-huh.
That's the second Move Fit one.
Yes.
But
you were there at the first one, because I remember, because I was like, how big is your setup? How is your whatever? Because it was outside. Yeah. And I remember you kind of saying it was like a whole thing. So I was like, okay, you do 2 booth spaces, like, the whole deal.
Yeah, I remember that.
But because that was 2017, because I had just started my business July of August 1st of 2017.
Where was that first one at?
So it was at the Franklin at an amphitheater. So I had to get a private amphitheater, because nobody in the whole Franklin, none of the I don't know, what are they called? Like the not even event spaces, just like the parks, like the people.
Yeah.
They were like, you need to present a full on thing for me or whatever. I was like, no, I'm trying to have this in like a month. And then they were like, or in 2 months or whatever. And they were like, no one's ever done this before. I was like, exactly. And then but I had to talk to a private company who I saw this beautiful amphitheater being built. And these 2 women, I went into this I don't even know, like $1 million building, and sat at this long desk and pitched my idea. It's like part of the proceeds go to St. Jude. It's going to be a great event for the community. Can we host it here? And they were like, absolutely. And then got it together, did it. And I think I had 15 sponsors and 75 people came. And that was the first year. And then the next year was Franklin, and then Murfreesboro. And then the next year was Franklin and Nashville. I did it out in Fontenelle, because Fontenelle was going under. And they needed to have I don't know how it's going now, but they needed people to come to their space. And
I
stuff
didn't
like that.
know that.
And so that one I ended up having, I think the total I had was 60 something sponsors, and which was awesome. And then from there, I think it was only because it's like a Friday night, it's kind of like a rave and stuff. Yeah. But I think the attendance was only in total 300 that came through, but it still was great.
Still
when was the Franklin one? Wasn't it the same day?
The Franklin one, so it was
or
literally
the day before or something?
Oh no, it was a week apart.
Okay, they were a week apart.
It was, so I did
Lord.
Franklin, and then
That's
the
what I'm trying to tell you. That's
the
what I'm
next
saying.
year I did Franklin and Murfreesboro. So Murfreesboro I did it at the Fountains at Gateway
I
when it
remember
just
that.
started
Yeah.
out, when it was just there. So again, I was looking at spaces that were people weren't really
You did that one
capitalizing.
at night too, didn't you?
What'd you say?
Wasn't that one at night?
That one was at night, yeah,
Yeah.
because Grace Good,
Yeah.
who, if y'all have seen her on America's Got Talent and everything, anyway, she was her sister is Abby, who did the stair climb that we did again, the charity event, and so Grace would do her hula hoop and fire, whatever. She did it on that stage. I had Red Bull sponsor. This is pre-fight, so Yeah. Anyway, so I had Red Bull sponsor as well, National Fit, all them, whatever. But we did that, and that was the first fitness festival thing that they had there. So now they'll do cycling classes out there, and they'll do stuff and whatever. So anyway, so just trying to find spaces that were new enough that weren't so rigid in their ways with like the park system and all the stuff, and private things like that. And it was great. And no, I really enjoyed it. The hard part about Fontanelle was it was too far out for people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a thing. But I mean, it was really cool. We had a great time, and I had my brother rent us a flatbed trailer. He borrowed a flatbed trailer, and that was a stage. We built this,
pretty
and then
cool. There you go.
Emily Sprouse, she was my female DJ, and she was up there. I'm on that stage, and like we made it work. We created, with very little, and it was super special. So anyway, but I loved that, and it was such a fun. I don't know, it was just such a fun time. But isn't that funny how?
Well, I just want to point out about both you guys real quick is that again, why you're going through all this. We're talking about this stuff to point out what we were talking about earlier, which is that you guys like did this. This is not like what'd you say earlier about the what if thing? Like how many things die right there too, though, right?
Yeah.
How many things die at that conversation?
A choice, though.
And so
you're making the choice.
You said I'm going to do this, and so you did, and you said I'm going to do this, and so you did.
Well,
and I think that's awesome.
That those things could have failed, because I think people forget. Like it wasn't like Dani Fitness was like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't, people knew of the brand and things like that, but they still didn't really,
I wouldn't say failed. I hate the word failed.
Right.
It may have fell short of your expectations.
Right.
But
I think so many people look at it like that. Like they look at like that they would fail, so they don't even try. And that's where it's again they have too high.
I really hate that too.
Yeah.
Because I hate that, people do, and you're right, and people they'll look at things in their life that way, and then they'll also look at things in your life and say that like, oh, you failed at that. No, I didn't. Right. You never fail if you try.
100%.
Even if it falls short of whatever your expectations are, maybe your expectations were wrong. Yeah. But I never think you go wrong if you just try to do something different, create something that, inspires or whatever somebody else. But people do say that, and I hate. Ugh.
Yeah. And that's where I think that, especially with having a healthy lifestyle journey, it's that same thing of like, why bother? They've tried everything. They've done or they think they failed, right? And you didn't fail. You just found another way not to do something.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And that's where I'm like, again, I did that a million times over, and I've done same thing with my business. Like I've gone down one way and whatever. And it's just like, I don't view any of it as that I failed. It was just like, it was a different time, or was it Well,
it's part of the journey too, right?
Yeah.
It's not, you don't go from A to Z. Yes. There is a lot of points in between. And I think that is key. I thought of you the other day. And I will say something. Please don't be offended. Oh, man. But
I love when people do this. I always say that when they say something to me. Please don't be offended.
No, but
I did that earlier when I said that.
There's a compliment coming.
I can't wait to
I did that earlier too. Just earlier.
There's a compliment coming. When you would say love your body throughout, I didn't know what that meant. Okay. And I've been on this weight loss roller coaster where I have been as low as like 260 and as high as like 360. I've been everywhere in between. And I remember how unhappy I was with myself at 260.
Right.
And I was like, there's just a little fat that's hanging over the belt, and it was driving me nuts. And then I was like, love your body throughout, dummy. I followed it with dummy. And I was like, it's not about the destiny, or it's not about the end goal. It's about the journey from the whole thing. Yes. And I never understood that until that moment when I connected all the dots. I'm like, damn it, Dani's right.
I love it. I love that. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
No, that was so special, and thank you for sharing that, because it is exactly that. It is that moment that you can look at yourself and be like, okay, I know that I'm not where I think that I even want to be, but I know that I'm putting forth my best effort. I'm seeing myself and that is so beautiful. And I love that. And so I'm glad that it again,
going in the right direction.
right.
Yes.
And that's the thing too, is it's like, even right now, you've known me for how long? How many years? Going on like 7 now?
Well, how long have you been in business?
2017.
So that's when I met
years.
you.
Yeah. So about 7 years, right? And he just got
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm slow.
And no, that's okay. No. But again, this is where I tell people all the time, because like it's people just have to, you're really changing a mindset. You're changing everything
That's
society
exactly
has
what it
always
is.
told you. You're
Yeah.
changing everything your mom and dad say.
Yep.
You're changing what you saw growing up. You're literally changing the framework of how you view yourself and getting rid of all the nonsense. And when you can do that, you're so much more efficient, you're powerful, you're stronger. You know, you're just beautiful in it, you know?
And I think you are accepting of yourself.
Yes.
And a lot of people, unfortunately,
Yeah.
they're uncomfortable in their own skin,
Yeah.
and you're stuck in it.
Right.
Let's be honest.
This is your temple.
This is. So let's find ways. And if you're not happy with where you're at, okay.
Right.
But as long as we're making progress going toward the goal,
Right.
and you're going to stumble, you're going to fall.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a straight path
Right.
from A to Z. Like I said, as long as you're going in that direction, have a little grace.
Yes.
Or give yourself a little grace, I should say.
Right. And that's, besides like, and right there with what you just said about showing yourself grace with your body, but also with yourself too. And all of your, accolades, all your things you're going for, like, because I know the stress that both of you have on business stuff and things like that, and being men and trying to provide, for your family and things like that. And it is just as important as for us females, you know what I mean? Trying to love ourselves throughout. Like we all just as a community have to find those parts. And so I love that. So that makes me so happy.
I have to second that. I do have to second that. I won't go into a whole spiel, but I've definitely had that thought before. I have a friend of mine in particular that you may have met, and this is literally like 3-4 years ago at this point, but he actually at one point did what I think that people do a lot, which is purposely twist things. Sometimes people get things are confused. Yeah. Sometimes, like with your message, for example, so you're out of shape and unhealthy, so that you should just love yourself anyway. It's like, dude,
that's not it.
That's not what it means. And anybody with a fucking brain can tell that that's not what it means. Nobody would ever say that.
Right.
Nobody would ever say that. And if you listen to her talk for more than 5 minutes, that's not what she means.
But typically, the person that says something like this is very unhappy in their own skin,
Correct. Yes.
with their life. So it's the crab in the bucket. Have you ever heard the crab in the bucket
They all
story?
pull each other back down.
As soon as the crab gets to the top, one will grab it and pull it back down. Misery loves company.
So for the love your body throughout, I think that's an important note, is that it's so easy to dismiss it and just be like, yeah, I think that's ridiculous. She just tells everybody that they should just love themselves no matter what. It's like, that's not the point. The point is grace.
Yeah.
And the point is, like, whenever I say that, the reason why I'm seconding this, I've told you about, I haven't worked out in two years, and a lot of where I've gotten to is where I don't want to go because I feel like shit about myself that I haven't gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my point with the whole, loving yourself throughout, I'm sitting there like, well, fuck, this is part of it too. Like, so I'm just not going to work out because this is where I'm at right now. Right. You know what I mean? And the other one I want to throw in there is to get your movement in. I swear to God, I was having this conversation this morning with Margaret about another situation, and we were talking about the phrase, you'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. I don't know if you've ever heard that before. But one thing about that phrase that's interesting is, like, if you're a warrior in a garden, you kind of feel itchy, like, because you want what? You want war because you're a warrior, right? My point in saying all this is that whenever I don't train, it's good for me health-wise. Yes, I build muscle. But I need it.
Yeah.
And so I'm at the point now where going to get my movement in looks like going to running a mile and I'm dead.
Yeah.
But that's as important as if I could run 10 miles and I go run the 10 miles. Like,
correct.
You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Well, dude, I'm obviously the oldest person in this room, but as you get older, it is critical. Yeah. Like, I can't do the things, when I competed in powerlifting, I did for 9 years. I was never like a world record holder, but I held my own. I won a lot of first place trophies, which is cool.
Yeah.
But, at this age, I'm like, I don't need to lift a car. I can buy a car jack. It's different. Right. So, like you were saying with, not wanting to go train because you haven't trained. And I kind of, when I had that epiphany, you know, I would go to my garage and I'm like, oh, shit, I can't squat 500 anymore.
Exactly.
You know, I don't even want to stand up with it.
Right.
You know, I'm squatting 130.
I was gonna go run yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess. And dude, I was so embarrassed. Like, I was legit embarrassed. I was like, dude, I'm sorry, bro. I can't. Like, I gotta go.
But you find, what you do is you find, what are the positives of this? Number one, you did movement. Like for me, you know, I'm downstairs squatting 135 for like 6 sets of 10 or whatever, 12. But I'm like, man, you know what? After that first couple of sets, that depth has come back instantly. And I can feel like my hamstrings have stretched out and my lower back is loosened up. And, oh, okay, now I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go walk a mile. And then I'm going to go inside and I'm going to chill out and watch some stupid TV on Amazon or whatever. But it's critical, especially, like I said, I'm almost 50. And the old adage, if you don't use it, you lose it. Dude, it's true.
Well, and this is the whole.
I'm telling you, when I'm like, I don't want to go run. I'm like, literally. I swear to God, I've said it in my head. I'm like, dude, literally, just go move. Like, just get your movement in. Like, just move. Well, just move your body.
And that's the thing too that my clients have dealt with a lot of. They're like, how do you not compare back to when you were pulling trucks or when you were doing, you know, heavy lifting and whatever, like, and because they continually compare themselves to when they were X amount of weight or pre-baby or whatever it is.
That makes no sense.
And it does exactly because again, at the end of the day, what I tell them is I had to find appreciation in what I could do. And literally it's just a different mindset. Like when I do now, you know, I'll kind of be like, okay, it's on, you know, only, I'll be like, okay, it's only 225 for 12 or whatever for a back squat or for deadlift or whatever. And then I look at it.
You see how Dani just threw in? She out squats me right now.
She picked the one exercise that you just brought up a second ago.
That's interesting. She totally did.
I didn't mean it, but that's, anyway, but it's one of those things where I was like, you know, I'm sitting there being like, but like, I'm so appreciative because it's a different type of feeling successful. Because what makes me successful about that is not necessarily the weight that I did, right? Because I used to do so much more. It's the fact that I did it safely. I wasn't injured afterwards.
It's a different point of life.
And it's a different way of life. And I still felt, you know, like confident and strong and capable. It just looked like in a different way. And so that was the whole thing of like, that's always my win. So when I put stories up and when I put things on Instagram, whatever, I think that sometimes, you know, people are always waiting for this like massive, like, she's going to do this deadlift or she's going to whatever, because that's what I used to do all the time. And I'm like, you don't understand the struggle of the mental of like how I've had to get to this point. Of essentially being like, I feel good with these movements. I feel capable. I'm so happy that I stuck to my food plan. I'm so happy. You know, like even the Vegas trip, like I felt so successful packing my meals and still moving around and walking, you know, and doing all the things and not feeling like I had to work out to feel good or had to work out to eat the food. You know what I mean? All those negative, you know, just nonsense that are waste of time. But it's just, again, looking back at the past, you can be nostalgic about it. You can be like, oh man, like that was cool. Like the powerlifting meets and all the things and the strongman competitions. And I look at them with a happier lens now, not I need to go back to that or I gotta, you know, whatever. And just let that go.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we have powerlifting at the expo and, you know, a lot of my old training buddies, they still in the grind, boy.
Really?
Oh, goodness gracious. My old coach is going to be there.
Okay.
And, you know, I walk over and I went, yep, that's cool. Y'all can have it.
Right.
I've got this other thing going on. I don't know if y'all are paying attention.
Right. Well, that's what I did with Strongman last year.
It's the same thing. You're like, yep, it's cool what y'all are doing. I've got this other thing going on.
Right.
It's just a different time in life.
I heard something one time that I love. This is from the podcast here. I mean, I made the clip, to be fair. I did title it myself, but on one of the clips that you go back from your show, it says "Celebrate Confidence."
Yeah.
And that was something that you were talking about. And I never thought about it that way, because I feel like today, like in today's, like you were doing the LYB initiative, right? And you're like asking people, have you ever been asked this before? And nobody ever says yes, because like, why would you ask people that? Because it's not cool to be confident. Like if you're confident, like you're like a jerk and you're an asshole or whatever.
Yeah.
And I heard a video one time. You were talking about Ludacris yesterday, and I saw a video of 50 Cent one time, and he said, "People mistake my confidence for arrogance, but they have no idea what I had to do to get to the place where I'm confident."
Right.
So I don't care if you mistake it for arrogance, because you don't know what I had to do to get confident.
100%.
That's true. It's very true.
And also with that, people don't know, like when someone is going to the gym or they're going to a Music City Fit Expo or, whatever they're doing, they don't know how much, like you don't understand that maybe that woman or that man or whatever changed their outfit 20 times to feel like confident in themselves. They, maybe sat in their car, which I've had some of my girls do before. They come to a Move Fit for an hour just to get the courage to step out. Thank you so much for listening to Love Your Body podcast. If you're enjoying this episode and want to hear the conclusion, make sure to go check out patreon.com/DanityFitness1. There you can find exclusive content and this episode, as well as deals with Danity Fitness, upcoming things, and some surprises that you're not going to want to miss out on. So go check it out.